Okay, bank ID. This will affect the entire condition group. Any bet made with this condition group will come under this bank ID, unless in the custom bet, if it is a custom bet, this bank ID here will override that selection from the main. Also, the custom stake here will override the selection from the main as well. Otherwise, the stake would be associated with the bank ID, and the stake, if you remember, is from the bank page here. Try to keep things quite organised. Okay, so that's how your bank ID and your custom stake works if you want to enter that, and if you don't, just leave it as null. After a bet is made, I make the bot put a 1 in here, so if you stop the bot and you relaunch it, it knows not that this bet has already been made. It's 3:10 the next race, so we're okay. We've got another 10 minutes yet. Back over to config. Bet type, you put back lay place. It does place bets, but how place bets work is you can do a place back or a place lay, but I need to put a readme about this first, really, for users to understand how it works. You have to make sure you add the place market into here, and then so you have to have both the win market and the place market. And what it'll do is it'll jump to the next market, look for the same horse, check the odds, place a bet, jump back to the previous market, and that's how it does the place bets. It just jumps back into. It's not the. I'm not really particularly happy about it. It does work though. Okay, but I'd suggest just sticking with back and lay so far. That back and lay 20-80%. It was a staking plan which I heard someone on Betfair Radio talk about. It was you know, you use 20% of your staking on back and 80% on lay, or you can do 30-70, but you know, I'm just sticking with regular staking plans at the moment. I'm not particularly fussed about that. Offset by ticks. Without going into too much detail, I hope you know what offset, fill and kill, stop loss. You can add all these conditions to when you're staking. You know, when the trigger is actually activated and you're doing the back at the odds, and you know, you can add these criteria to it. Stop loss, and don't cancel in play. This is a bet trigger. This select horse, position from in play. There are a couple of triggers basically. There are a couple of conditions which can trigger bets, and these conditions have to be put. If you're going to have more than one of these, you have to put them into different conditions. Select horse from position. One shift, which wasn't finished, so you can ignore that one. Custom bets, obviously. Drift position from favourite. Oh, sorry, it'd be this one. Okay, so we've got lay the largest drifter, or lay the largest incomer. Select horse, position from favourite, and then custom bets, which is here. Okay, so they're the 4 triggers which have made so far. And then what you do is you just put a 1 in any of these if you want it to be active. But if you're going to do a custom bet 1, then make sure, if you want to do a lay the largest drifter condition, then make sure you put that in a different group condition with all the rest of this criteria filled out. Okay, so select horse from position. You just put 1, 2 or 3 in there, you know, whichever horse you want to back or lay. Minimum odds, maximum odds, your choices. Back and lay distance between odds. That is between, going over to sheet 1, that is between here and here. So the difference between 2.2 and 2.28 would be 4 ticks if it is 2, which I'm not sure it is. It is a lot less than that. Yeah, oh, it's 2.2 and 2.28. If that's going up in 2s, which it probably is, then it will be 4 ticks. The difference between that and that will be 4 ticks. So you can say, like, it has to be less than or equal to 4 ticks on here. So to do that, it'd be less than 4. Otherwise the bet would not be matched. You know, it's good for Greyhound racing and early markets to ensure that you don't get a bet put in on a ridiculously high lay, you know, at like 80 lay or something when the back is like 2.36. Wait for the market to develop a bit more, and that's just another reassurance of that. Distance between first and second in ticks, you know, these can be greater than 12 or less than 12 or greater than 12. You can use both the greater than or less than in here, and it will be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, if you're wondering. So and you can do that for all. I don't know if anyone has any staking systems, which will include those. Again, that's another request from someone to add that to my bot. Okay, one shift and delay between each bet. That was a system I'm still working on. I do have like a partially built bot for that, but it needs testing. It's a real heavy one, so real heavy. So like Doc off Back to the Future. Hey Marty, that's real heavy. Great Scott. 29. Okay, lay the largest drifter. Pretty simple. You know what it does is evaluate over a set period of time, and then it'll just bet. So these are the conditions which also meet this criteria. That's what the double arrows mean. Drift position from favourite has to be at least X amount of ticks. So say it has to have drifted at least 12 ticks away from the favourite, or 12 ticks towards the favourite. You know, and you can use back the largest income as well, and so how would this work? It would be back the largest income, and that would be like a 1, and then drift position from favourite has to be less than or equal to 10. So say like a horse is closing in on the favourite, and it's within 10 ticks of the favourite, and it's closed in 15 ticks within, set the exact time or distance within the last 5 seconds or something, and that could maybe be an in-play trigger for someone catching on the favourite. I'm just mixing and matching here, but it's got real customizability. It has. So for the Greyhound racing, you can use lay the largest drifter. I mean, I've been trying that out at the moment. It seems to be working okay. Using specific minimum odds, maximum odds. You can use it on the horses. In play, let me go over these. Drift position from favourite. I think you understand that now. Set drift in ticks. Hope you understand that. Set time of distance. That's basically the odds that it compares to determine which is the drifter or the largest income. So it'd look at the odds from 20 seconds ago and the current odds to determine which horse has drifted and which horse has come in. If you're looking for more long term, you can put that as like 200 or something, but just make sure the time it started scanning the market is enough to allow for that to happen, and then make sure that when this trigger kicks in, it would it'd have to kick in with enough time for that time period to be captured when it kicks in. You understand what I mean there? Okay, we've got 2 minutes before the off, and the next one is the 310. We've got 2 JTS bets. I can just finish this off now. Minimum GT matched. Again, good for the Greyhound racing. Bet method: auto is whatever you declare here. Specific is whatever the odds are. Dynamic would be like if you want +1, then it would be in the favour of like say 2.00 is 0. If I set that as 2.00 and there's a back at 2.00, it'll back at 2.00. If I set it to -1 and then back, it'll back it at 1.99. -2 would be 1.98. If I put a plus, it'll and I'm laying it, it'll lay it at 2.01. You see, it just does a little tick offset when it's actually placing a bet. I need to change this though to make it global. I'm going to launch my bot now, because I've got back and lays. Sugar. Sorry, just hang on a minute. I wouldn't break the video then. I just realised that I changed something, then I need to change it back. Dynamic tick offset. I just launched my bot then without changing it back like a plonker. I think I've still got enough time though. Right, what I was saying is that dynamic offset in the bets, I mean, it needs to affect both the lay and the back in favour. So say if I put that as -1, I want it, instead of for the lay side, instead of going for lay that's at 2.00, instead of laying it at 2.91, which it will be unmatched, I need it to